Steph here, welcome to the Stable Studio. I sliced my finger, so I've got some gaffer tape on it because I can't find the super glue. Plasters are no good. So yeah, fluffing a little bit through the beginning there, catching my bit of gaffer tape on the strings. But hey, excuses aside, let's get into what we're doing today. The diagonal pentatonic shape, whatever, something I've been using a long time, probably since the early 90s when I was having some guitar lessons with a fantastic teacher called Ross Griggs, who's a good friend of mine. And I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and he taught me the position 1 of the minor pentatonic scale, which in E minor would include obviously open strings. And then also the same scale an octave higher. So position 1, E minor pentatonic, would be 12th fret. And then he taught me this diagonal shape which ties the two together. And all it is, it's from the relative major scale, the relative major pentatonic scale, which for E minor is G. Now, if you don't know how to work that out, I've done another video on it. I'll tag it in the description below. But if you are in E minor pentatonic, let's say my first finger's playing the open string there, your next note in the scale, your second note, is your major, your relative major. So if you're in E minor, your relative major is G. So G is your relative major to E minor, basically meaning that the E minor pentatonic and the G major pentatonic are the exact same notes, just from a different starting point. Okay, so the notes of an E minor pentatonic scale are E, G, A, B, D, and then back to E again. Whereas G major pentatonic is the same note starting from a G. G, A, B, D, E. It's just literally from a different, starting point, or if there's a G chord underneath what you're playing, it's going to sound like G major. If there's an E minor chord underneath what you're playing, it's going to sound like E minor. It's the backdrop which you play over, which gives it that kind of major or minor sort of sound. Anyway, so this little diagonal shape I'm going to show you comes from the G major pentatonic, in my head at least. So, starting on the G, which is our relative major to E minor, the shape is simply that, repeated. And repeated again. So 3 notes on one string, 2 on the other. So I've done this really crude, rough piece of paper with a shape on it, and that's what I'm seeing in my head, kind of, I suppose, that way up, right? 3 dots and then 2. So 3 on your bottom E string and then 2 on the A string just there. So it's almost like a sort of H, I suppose, pattern, if you want to see it like that, or see it like that, however you want to see it. But that's how I see it in my head. That's the shape I'm looking at on the fretboard. And all we do is take this shape and then we just move it down a set of strings each time. So let's do that. Starting with the G major. Here, G major pentatonic. So you've got, so there's that shape, like a H. If it's that way up, it'd be H. If that makes sense. So I'm just playing 3rd, 5th and 7th fret on the bottom E string, and then the 5th and 7th fret on the A string. I don't really want you to think about it in frets and fret numbers, because it's no good if you need to move it to another key. So that's why shapes, I think, and patterns are important, because then you can shift it, like when you learn a bar chord, or you can learn that pattern, that shape, and shift it around, right? So when you get to there, all you do is you start the same pattern on the 4th string here, on the G, which is 5th fret, 5th fret, 4th string. I need another coffee, I reckon. And you do the same pattern, right? Exact same pattern. So you end up on the 9th fret on the 3rd string here. And then you do the same pattern again from the 8th fret on the B string. Obviously, because of how the guitar is tuned, we need to shift back a fret at this point, because these 2 strings are tuned in a major 3rd, whereas these are tuned as a 4th in relation to each other. So we have to start on the 8th fret there, but it's the same pattern, still that H pattern, which means you end up on the 12th fret on the 1st string. And then you can either go into into that minor pentatonic position 1 an octave higher, or you actually end up nicely into the shape or position 5, should I say, of the minor pentatonic as well. So wherever you want to end it. This keeps catching on the strings. Hopefully that'll heal quickly. It's quite annoying. Right, so E minor pentatonic. So you can start down here doing your position 1 stuff. It's not staying on my finger. And then hit the diagonal pentatonic shape. And end up here in your position 1. So at the beginning, over that track, I was just using that diagonal shape and just trying to get from literally one end of the neck to the other. So I'm starting here in this position, that highest H shape, if you like, you want to call it that. Down to the next one. So it connects the two, which is great. And it's just a case of just practicing that and starting it on the major, the relative major of whatever minor scale, whatever minor pentatonic scale you're in. So let's do it in a different key, just to give you an example of that. Let's do it in A minor. There's another popular key. Let's just do a bit of a backing for that. A minor this time. Stop that a second. A minor. So the relative major to A minor would be this second note of your minor pentatonic scale, which is a C. And like I said, I've done this in another video, and I will tag that underneath that link. But it's just the relationship between these first 2 notes of the minor pentatonic scale. Relative major, and that's your minor, or your relative minor to the major, whichever way you look at it. Okay, so we're going to start that pattern that we just talked about from here, and then we end up on the A, like your top A up there. Okay, let's give it a go with that. Which button is it? That button. I think I know the looper buttons by now, wouldn't you? So easy just to get up there with that simple little pattern. You get the idea, right? I'm just noodling. Try that shape, try that pattern. It's a really great way of linking the two position 1s or any of the higher positions of the minor pentatonic scale up, just linking it up by this diagonal shape or diagonal pattern. Okay, and that's all I'm seeing is that. So check it out, have a little go, see how you get on, see if that helps you. If it does help you, that's mega. Some of the comments I've been getting on the other videos where some of you said, God, this is really, you know, unlocked a mystery for me or whatever, you know, that makes everything worth it for me. All this time I'm putting into sort of these videos and stuff, it's great when people respond and say, this really helps. If there's any other way I can help, then just, yeah, chuck me a comment. And I've got loads of ideas for videos from some of you. Thank you so much. I know a few of you want some kind of the licks that I'm playing broke down, which is going to take me a while to sit and work out, because a lot of what I do I've been doing forever and I just improvise it. So I will need to sit and think about that. And quite often I'm thinking more about a concept or a shape or a pattern than I am an actual lick. So I generally don't kind of transcribe other players' licks. I generally look at the concept they're using and then make it my own. So, you know, but I will try and do a lick video and show you some of the licks that I probably overuse and some that come up all the time. I'll definitely get onto that soon. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that. It helps the channel out, and giving the video a like if you like what you've seen here today. I obviously can't talk properly today. I'm not sure what's going on with my voice. I need another coffee. I'm going to go do that. Anyway, thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.